Is Epcot ruined? That is the deep dive we are going to talk about today on TMR Tours. What was promised versus what was delivered. The statement of Epcot being ruined is one that many Disney goers have been echoing within the overhaul and construction that has taken place over the past few years, practically 5 to be exact. Think about it, 5 years. What can you get done in 5 years? Quite a bit. So let's take a look at what happened at Epcot. Let's go through this step by step at what we missed out on between restructuring, budget cuts, and everything. Things either downright abandoned or fizzled out, hoping to be forgotten. The updates to Future World, World Celebration, as well as World Discovery and World Nature. To take this deep dive, let's go through what was presented at both D23 and the Epcot experience back in 2019. Plans for Epcot seemed optimistic. The number of projects and restructuring and constructions that were covered were as follows. 1. New festival space coming to Epcot. 2. Moana Journey of Water attraction. 3. Wonders of Life becoming the Play Pavilion. 4. The Energy Pavilion turning into a Guardians of the Galaxy roller coaster unlike any other. 5. Spaceship Earth getting much needed updates. 6. Ratatouille Remy Adventure coming to the France Pavilion. 7. A Mary Poppins attraction coming to the UK Pavilion. And 8. A new nighttime show called Harmonious, which would be bigger than any show previously at Epcot. Now let's go through these one at a time because only about half of them really happened. And to that point, some of the ones that did happen weren't totally what was promised. Number 1, Festival Space. Looking at Communicore Hall and Communicore Plaza, without a doubt, Festival Space will definitely benefit. But were we given what was promised? Let's face it, not quite. Not even a little bit. Disney boasted a multi-level festival center with views of the new nighttime show. What we got in comparison was far from the concepts and renderings showed at D23. The rush to finish after 5 years and budget constraints clearly got the better of them. The entire center of Epcot lacks in what Future World and Innoventions used to represent. Alongside the Fountain of Nations being a great water feature and focal point for Future World and the front of the park. It was so good, in fact, that it was even featured in a Boy Meets World episode as well as Barbie's birthday celebration TV special. The new area is very drab and feels very much like a college or corporate campus, with Communicore Hall feeling like a glorified cafeteria, or even like you're trapped in some weird Epcot backroom. We talked more about this in depth, specifically in our Communicore Hall video on our channel. Altogether, this area will give great seating opportunity both inside and outside and alleviate some of the festival pressure of all of the traffic that comes in, but it is not the multi-level exhibit that was promised in the renderings. This is a key reason why a lot of people are up in arms about the whole center area of Epcot and Communicore Hall and Communicore Plaza. It is not up to the potential as well as the innovation that was expected based on what was presented. Number 2, Moana Journey of Water. This they delivered on in spades. Although many wish Moana had her own full-blown attraction, which, hang on, because there is speculation that more on that subject might be coming soon, but rather this area turned into a kids' splash pad. But Journey of Water does give some of those original Epcot edutainment vibes while encouraging play and interaction. That is something we really love. Overall, this area has done a great job through the refurbishment to add more value at Epcot. Nothing was really taken away to add this to the Epcot lineup. It should be the new model to show how to combine IP with edutainment that doesn't feel overly forced. But we will talk more about IP overuse a little later in this video. Number 3, the Wonders of Life Pavilion becoming the Play Pavilion. This one's a big one. This one seems like it's fully scrapped. I don't think we're going to be getting this anytime soon. In fact, the pathway leading to the building has even been closed off with curbing and landscaping since the opening of Guardians of the Galaxy. It's just sad. It really doesn't seem like any progress is going to happen over here anytime soon. Would it have been a nice addition to have an interactive section of the park that integrated digital media with physical play? Of course, that sounded so interesting, and the sky was the limit as far as possibility. Let's face it, if they weren't totally sure what this area was going to be, and even to that extent, implementing another app that would include more tech into your park day, would that have been worth it? I'm not sure. Considering that recently some of the app-based interactive games, like those seen at Galaxy's Edge, have not been totally received well and are usually full of issues and glitches. They also don't provoke much of a great user experience, unlike the Pirate Scavenger Hunt or the Sorcerer of the Magic Kingdom Scavenger Hunt that gained a whole lot of popularity over at Magic Kingdom. They had great user experience and they got people off of their phones as opposed to making them use their phones. These are top-notch experiences that were interactive that don't rely on heavy tech or an app. They also create memories for groups playing them, and a lot of people still rave about how much they miss Sorcerers of the Magic Kingdom and how much fun they had with their family and friends being able to play this free experience. I totally understand the hesitation in a post-COVID world of having an entire area be a playground for germs with endless touch points for people and kids to interact with. That sounds terrible. The idea of heavy physical interaction may not be for everyone. However, there is something to say that this building is being underutilized and sitting unused for almost a decade. At the very least, why not refurb it to be utilized for festivals once again? That would alleviate more of that traffic, get people inside, out of the sun, have cooking seminars, and more food options. I don't know. To me, that's a no-brainer. Considering they didn't deliver on that multi-level festival center, this would add more space for festivals, and it's already been implemented for that. It's set up. You just need to bring it back up to speed, and it wouldn't take that much of a budget as it was already used for festivals. Number 4, Energy Pavilion becoming Guardians of the Galaxy. This obviously has become a go-to attraction for many at Epcot, being one of Disney's most sought-after roller coasters. It definitely is something Disney fans rave about. However, a footnote here would be, how does it embody those core Epcot morals and feelings? What does it really do to help teach progress or culture? Has Epcot gone beyond that message at this point and not toting progress and innovation anymore? Is that something that we should be abandoning? Seeing that World Showcase is such a draw for this park, celebrating progress, culture, and humanitarian efforts, it still feels like something the park should be embodying. It is important. But I get it. Epcot needed more thrill rides, and Energy was a very slow-paced attraction. However, one thing it did great with was presenting renewable technology to generations of people even in the 90s before it became trendy and rather a necessity. So Guardians gets the seal of approval from many park goers. It is something that is sought after when coming to Epcot. I'm just a little disappointed that Energy doesn't have a pavilion anymore to teach people about renewable technologies and sustainability, holding some of those key Epcot morals and values. Number 5, the Spaceship Earth updates. This was a whole nother forgotten section, which although I love Spaceship Earth as it is, it could use a bit of modernizing. Spaceship Earth was slotted to undergo a 3-year refurbishment to add more scenes to bring it up to date, but has since not been mentioned by anyone. I'm sure the executive staff is hoping that people just forget that these updates were even announced. I mean, the exterior got a very nice facelift with the added LED lights that interact with the area surrounding, but the attraction itself didn't receive the same love and attention. Again, not complaining because it still has the classic Epcot feels. But as far as human beings are concerned, we have far surpassed the home computer, considering most people carry a more powerful computer in their pockets every day. This is one that I'm sure could use a little bit of effort as well as initiative. Number 6, Ratatouille Remy Adventure coming to the France Pavilion. This was delivered upon, but some might argue it was an easy delivery considering this entire ride existed at the Paris parks for years before it came here to Epcot. Thematically and culturally, it fits within the France Pavilion very well, but this seems like a clear IP play to get more IP into Epcot. One great thing it did was bring some new food items to World Showcase, which we won't complain about because crepes are awesome. The argument here that many have a problem with goes back to the Frozen Ever After update that happened in Norway. Some do not like forcing IP into Epcot when originally it was a park that was built around the idea that no IP would be used, which is why many people enjoyed its originality as a theme park. Overall, it's a fun ride, it fits with the France Pavilion, so no points off for Ratatouille at number 6. Number 7, a Mary Poppins attraction coming to the UK Pavilion. This one was pretty well hyped during the Epcot experience, with many people excited to have the potential for photo opportunities on Cherry Tree Lane, but it is yet another idea that was scrapped. Albeit leaked information has shown that they were generally planning just a teacup style ride at the back of the UK Pavilion. Altogether, this is not a bad thing, but in the end, is a teacup ride something Epcot needed? How high of a demand would it be? Would this be a budgetary item worth investing in if it is underwhelming and have a low turnout for guests? It would do well with younger audiences, but does that justify the expense? I think that is one of the reasons this was scrapped. A big budget move to put in a small ticket attraction. For many guests, this was a sad one not to get, but at the same time, I don't think they really knew what to expect, considering not much was presented in the Epcot experience. Would a teacup attraction really please the masses? I don't think so. Number 8, the new nighttime show, Harmonious. We all know how much of a flop this show was. There was a select audience that enjoyed it, but the pros definitely did not outweigh the cons. Likewise, it had viewing issues as well as ruined the Showcase Lagoon views. It had many technical issues with barges setting on fire and effects simply not working. It was one of the most expensive shows Disney created and many times had issues, which would cause more maintenance, which more maintenance means more budget. This is probably why it was replaced by Luminous, the Story of Us. I'm sure this was both an easy and difficult decision, considering any nighttime show costs millions of dollars to create from the ground up. But with all of the issues it was having, just displays the utter failure of Harmonious and the general feedback given by guests. Technical difficulties are one thing, but almost requiring people to purchase a special dessert dining package just to get a good view of this show was definitely a wrong move. Returning the daytime view across Showcase Lagoon and allowing people to view the nighttime show from anywhere around World Showcase is definitely something fans are happy about once again. Altogether, Harmonious didn't go over so well and only was partially delivered upon, considering it's not even a show anymore. So let's recap all the fine points and information. What was delivered? Moana Journey of Water, Guardians of the Galaxy, and Ratatouille Adventure. What was partially delivered was a nighttime show, which has since been closed, and more festival space, which is lackluster. What we didn't get was the Play Pavilion, Spaceship Earth updates, Mary Poppins coming to UK, and that multi-level festival center. It's a bit of a wash considering we only got about half of what was promised, which is a continuing trend within Disney announcements and promises. This is why audiences have become weary of how things are progressing. They have become more critical of how they execute on these promises. We as a fan base expect more because Disney is an industry leader, and that is something they should continue to do, is innovate and push boundaries. Consider this, the three things that were delivered, Moana, Guardians, and Ratatouille, both Guardians and Ratatouille were already under construction pre-pandemic. So the fact that they took that much longer to execute, as well as scrapping everything else, shows how much the budget was misused and mishandled. The fact that most things didn't happen all under the impression that COVID created budgetary issues is somewhat of a scapegoat at this point. Looking at and analyzing some of the early refurbishment and construction here at Epcot, you had Mouse Gear becoming the Creation Shop, as well as Electric Umbrella becoming the Connection Eatery. Both of those have that stripped down minimalist corporate design look that lacks inspiration as well as creativity. It is very stark and feels empty. It does not foster the idea of innovation, progress, and creativity that we come to know and love from Epcot. There is one silver lining through a 50-50 split like this. We did get Space 220 Restaurant, which is one of the most imaginative and immersive restaurant experiences Disney has delivered in decades. It is a bit pricey. The price is a bit on the high end, I'm not gonna lie, but the experience is definitely warranted. The story introduction for this restaurant, having elevators that take you up to the space station, delivers more than the flight pods used to board the Star Wars Hotel Galactic Star Cruiser. That speaks a lot as to why this restaurant is so good, and also why the Star Wars Hotel ultimately failed. In true Disney fashion, you can't just throw money at a problem to solve it. You need innovative ideas, creative solutions, as well as using that budget based on the user experience, not just to use technologies. Some of the most basic and oldest special effects used in attractions are still some of the best as far as efficiency and effectiveness. Let's get back to that, using smart solutions created around the user experience. Are some of the experiences we are longing for just hooked into nostalgia and tradition, all wanting to walk some of those similar corridors of interventions, exploring things like technology, innovation, as well as entertainment? Do we all just want to grab a drink from Club Cool one more time and taste what that Beverly has to offer? Of course, some of these things still exist in Epcot. It's just a new location and a new way to go about some of those theme park traditions we all have formed through the decades. Of course, Future World has changed into World Celebration. You can't go check out the amazing pin trading booth. Fountain of Nations isn't there anymore, running through its amazing song catalog, displaying awesome water effects. And the enchanting fiber optic sidewalk now replaced with LED lighting. Over the years, Epcot has evolved and expanded, with multiple IPs coming into the park, interventions slowly changing and evolving, wonders of life as well, evolving and changing. So these are all themes within Epcot, is evolution and change. Are some of these new changes something that everyone likes? Of course not, but they are changes nonetheless to hopefully have a better future for Epcot as a whole. What do you think? Do you agree that the user experience is the most important thing, or are you interested in flashy technology that may or may not efficiently work all the time to its full potential? Let us know in the comments, and if you enjoyed this video and learned something, give us a like, a subscribe, and we'll see you on another TMR Tours. And remember, Epcot will always be in a state of becoming. It will never cease to be a living blueprint of the future where people actually live a life they can't find anywhere else in the world.